There are three things that you need to have to be successful as an entrepreneur. And if you're not an entrepreneur, you still need these three things because they're ultimately going to give you the things you want in this life. In this video, I'm going to talk about these three specific qualities or attributes that most coaches aren't going to tell you about because it's not a specific strategy. It's not a specific thing to do, but it's a quality in which you enhance within yourself. And it's these qualities that all successful entrepreneurs have. I've had to consciously grow these qualities in my own life, and I've used semen retention as the number one practice to do this. And it's made such a tremendous difference in my business, my health, and my overall lifestyle. Let's get into it. Hi, my name is Nakula, and I help men master their S3X energy so you can become a powerhouse both in and outside the bedroom. We're creating an army of men all across the world who are able to transmute their sexual energy as taught by Napoleon Hill in his book, Think and Grow Rich. And we're placing all of that energy, all of that power, all of that creative ability into growing successful businesses, to free ourselves, our families, and to show as a practical example to those around you that you can live outside of the norm, the 9-to-5 grind, or the constant dictatorship of a corporate government world. So if you're interested in having more freedom in your life, entrepreneurship has to be part of that, because that is the only way in which you can dictate your own financial life. As long as you're working for somebody else, they're dictating your financial life. They're dictating the time that you work. So you have to set it up. Now, we all work and partner with each other. However, we have to set it up in such a way that gives us freedom. And that's having an entrepreneurial mindset. So the three qualities that have transformed my own business and are transforming businesses all around the world for entrepreneurs is capacity, energy, and focus. So capacity. How much can you handle as an individual person? Are you the type of person that freaks out and breaks down when something doesn't go your way? Or when there are challenges in front of you? When there are challenges, do you run? Do you hide? Do you avoid? Do you check out? Do you create excuses? Or can you see past that? Do you have the capacity to handle challenges and not break down and have to spend 3 days in bed or go jerk off to porn to relieve yourself of that challenge or that anxiety? Because if that's you, you're never going to be successful in business, because business is full of challenges. Growing your own business is full of challenges because you're going to develop a ton of new skill sets. You're going to have to challenge your own belief systems. And this is true in any area of life. If you want to increase your health, you have to challenge your belief systems and your own personal identity, your own self-image. Do you see yourself as a healthy person taking healthy actions daily as a lifestyle, not something that you're going to do for 3 weeks and then not do it again? See, it's all about your self-image. Being an entrepreneur is a self-image. Being successful is a self-image. And if your capacity is low or small, that means your self-image is low and small. What you see yourself accomplishing is low and small. And it doesn't match reality. As human beings, we are capable of tremendous amounts of success. There are countless stories right now in your own neighborhood of people that are being tremendously successful in all different ways: their health, their relationships, their finances, their spiritual life. There are countless stories in history of men who have done incredibly massive things. You're capable of this. No human being has ever reached the pinnacle or potential of what it means to be human and said, yeah, I've reached it, that's it. There's nothing beyond this. Even the highest enlightened masters, they describe it as an endless ocean, meaning there is no limit to what can be discovered because there's no limit to consciousness. So your capacity is largely based upon your mindset. A president, a CEO, a leader isn't just making decisions for themselves, but they're making decisions for their families. They're making decisions for their companies, their businesses. Their decisions affect the lives of others. They have to consider other people in their decision-making process. If you're an entrepreneur, you have to consider your clients. You have to consider your students. You have to consider your family. You have to consider your team, your suppliers, the people that are partnered with you, who may have come to rely on an income from your business so that they could supply for their families. You have to think about these things. So therefore, your life is no longer just yours. So you have to have capacity to not only handle your shit and your challenges, but often to also assist and be there and serve and help others in other people's challenges and shit as well. The second one is energy. Not only do you have to have the mindset or self-image, you have to have the energy to back it. If you have to sleep 10 hours a day and it takes you another 2 hours to get out of bed, and how much time you have left for anything? You see, you have to get shit done if you want to be successful. If you want a life, if you want to be attractive, you want to attract clients, you want your business to be on fire, you want to have a great aura and energy around your marketing, around your content, around what you're doing, you have to be a man of action, because action is what speaks in this world. A lot of people talk, and a lot of people have ideas, and a lot of people say what they will do, but very few people do. There's no competition really for those who take action, because as soon as you start taking action, you'll recognize how most people live in inertia or inaction. They live in a state like a sloth. The successful entrepreneur cannot live in that state. He'll never be efficient enough to get things done and to be able to provide in a big way. And the third quality is focus. Do you have the ability to focus on one thing for long enough until it comes into fruition? Do you have the ability to focus on a task for an hour to an hour and a half without needing a break or having to get up or needing 3 cups of coffee to get you through that hour? Do you have the ability to run a marathon? You see, being an entrepreneur is about running a marathon. It ain't a sprint. It's not a get rich quick thing. It's a get rich in 10 years thing. It's a build something meaningful, something with solid foundation, something that's going to last, something bigger than you. A business is a legacy. It's something that we can leave. You got to have focus. You can't be scrolling through Instagram all day, jerking off to porn, or having to get up every 3 seconds because you're agitated and you can't get your mind together. Now, here's why every entrepreneur should be practicing semen retention. Semen retention empowers, energizes, and grows all 3 of those naturally. It gives you more capacity because you are literally going to be uncomfortable the first few months of doing this. You are going to be facing your own limitations, and you are going to be facing your own sexual energy, which is your most powerful energy. It's your basic motivation, and it's going to be coming up to the forefront. It's going to be coming up to the conscious mind. Now you're going to be like, damn, I'm a sexual being. I can't just repress it, suppress it. And I also just can't go nuts like the mainstream culture right now and just watching porn and jerking off 21 times a month and all kinds of crap under this illusion of health. That's the trick right now, right? That's the trick of big pharma. That's the trick of those who wish to exploit the people of the world. Scare them at their health. Scare the health. Because most people are scared of their health because they're unhealthy. And because they know they're unhealthy, health things scare them. Because they're like, oh, I'm fragile. When you're not fragile, health doesn't scare you because you're like, I'll heal. I'm good. So when you practice semen retention, you're keeping all of your vital nutrients, your best proteins, your best enzymes. Napoleon Hill, as well as many other writers, the Vedic literature from India, the Taoist knowledge, many different occult sciences and art forms understood the power of sex and sexual energy, and they harnessed it, they used it consciously, and they all speak about its potential for health, keeping us healthy, keeping our best nutrients in us, keeping our best stuff there, circulating in the body, repairing the cells. It expands our capacity because we're facing ourselves. And because we're facing ourselves and we are becoming stronger in our self-image, I can retain longer. I'm self-controlled. As a man, our self-image grows, our self-worth grows to our ability to be disciplined and focused. That's what the modern world isn't teaching you. But that's what the ancients used to know, and every man had to go through his rite of passage. You know, in the Vedic culture, he had to do brahmachari to 25, celibacy to 25. You know, in the ancient, the more native tribes and traditions, they did, like spirit walks or soul searches or hunting packs where men had to go out with other men for days, weeks, months at a time and learn to be a man, learn to contribute to the pack, learn to carry his own weight. Because if you were weak, back then, you were a danger. You slowed everything down. And that's still true today. A society of weak men is a slow society. A society of weak people is not going to be an economic prosperous society. An economic prosperity comes from work, from efficiency. So if everybody's weak, and everybody's depleted of their energy and everybody's just doing enough to get by, then our prosperity will be equal to just doing enough to get by. If you want more than enough to get by, if you want, to experience the higher pleasures and luxuries and facilities and opportunities of this world, then you have to do more than you can't just have a mindset, today I'll do enough to get by. Another day, another dollar. How's the grind? Oh man, I fucking hate those sayings. They annoy me. I actually messaged someone and I was like, hey, what's going on? And she said, great, how's the grind? And that's how she replied to me. And I just moved on. I didn't answer back. I was just like, if that's how you're going to answer to me, I don't even want you in my atmosphere. How's the grind? This is life. I'm alive. I ain't grinding. I'm living. I'm only chilling with people who are living, experiencing, expanding. Semen retention brings that energy to you because it's bringing your most youthful, vital life force to you, your sexual energy. Think about how much life and sexual energy you had as a teenager. Well, imagine if you could still tap into that, but in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond. Imagine you could contain that fountain of youth and use it. Semen retention gives you that. Semen retention increases your energy and vibration. It literally increases the amount of energy you have within you. So not only do you go from a 4-liter tank to a 10-liter tank of energy or a battery, it's like going from a AAA to a battery pack. One of those ones with those big round ones. I don't know what letter they are. That's what it's like. Don't think of your balls just as sexual organs. Think of your balls as your battery pack. It's where your testosterone is generated. It's where your masculinity is generated. And it's where your energy, your youthful, charismatic, sexual energy is generated. It's where your masculinity lives. Don't castrate yourself by jerking off and busting a nut here and there. Use that wisely. And it's like being energy efficient. So be energy efficient when it comes to your sexual energy. Semen retention does that for you. And it increases focus because it increases clarity of mind. It increases personal power. And as your body becomes stronger, as more testosterone is in your system, as your hormones balance out. And the way that I help you achieve that is through the practices of sexual alchemy, which isn't just semen retention. It's semen retention on steroids. Because what it does is it takes these ancient practices of fusing and transmuting our sexual energy, as Napoleon Hill spoke about in Think and Grow Rich. The mystery of sex transmutation, that every successful man does this. And there's lists and lists of successful men. Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, Winston Churchill, Kanye West, 50 Cent, Sting, Sir Isaac Newton. I mean, so many, Steve Jobs. Plus the many, many mystics and yogis who reached spiritual enlightenment and powers through semen retention, through expanding their capacity, through expanding their energy and their ability to focus, high, extreme levels of focus. Unusual for most people to see someone that present. But the more present you can become in your life, you just increase your presence by 10% and life will increase by 1,000%. Because a little bit of presence makes a massive difference. Because very few people have it. If you even possess a little bit of it, you're like massively ahead of the crowd. And then now you start to get into the very, very upper echelons of people who are so focused, so driven, so on task, so on point. Their efficiency is just incredible that they're able to be world changers, game changers. Semen retention will give you the ability to grow your capacity, will increase the amount of energy you have. You'll sleep less, you can eat less, you can do more. You have more natural vibrancy and youthful creative energy to go after your dreams. You're full of testosterone, so you're going after your big goals and dreams. You're a hunter, but maybe instead of going after the biggest mammoth to bring home and claim your dominance on the tribe, you're going to go home and bring home the biggest paycheck, or you're going to go home and make the biggest difference in your community and support people in ways that you've always imagined yourself doing, but never had the energy to do. And you're going to have the focus to go through the challenges and see it through and learn all the skills. Because semen retention in itself is going to give you the energy, the focus, the capacity, the personal discipline to make it happen. And then you have to dovetail that with skills, skill sets, which are now that's a different type of intelligence. So semen retention works at a core intelligence. Who am I being? My character, my capacity, my focus. It's core intelligence. Then we have specialized knowledge. This is intellect. This is like school. This is learning. Oh, okay, so if I'm in the coaching business, I need to become an amazing coach. I need to know how to transform people's belief systems. I need to know how to influence people to get them to buy into their own dreams. I need to know how to sell, to market, to create content. I'm going to have to learn all these skills. So skill set can be learned very easily when you have focus, energy, and capacity. When you have no energy, focus, capacity, you ain't going to be learning shit. That's why most men statistically stop learning at the age of 25, because that's when all of their bad habits have really caught up to them. Now you can turn it around and change it. Nature is very forgiving. Nature is on your side. Always remember that nature wants you to win because you are part and parcel of nature. Nature doesn't go against itself. All right. We as human beings have been given a certain amount of free will and choice, a certain level of consciousness to work with. But if we're not responsible with that, then we do damage. So if you're doing self-damage, it's time to make a shift. Here's your next steps if you're serious about experiencing this, because here's the deal. You know what? People ask me all the time, the haters come on, but where's your science? Where's the science to back this? And I'm like, first of all, there's lots of science to back this. If you really were interested, you would do what I did and you would just start to Google it. That's how I found articles and papers and universities. And there's tons of science to back what's going on, both from modern Western ways of looking at the world, as well as Eastern traditions, more holistic, spiritual ways of looking at things. You can find literature in both schools of thought, and then there's many schools of thought within that from different traditions and cultures. Right? There's the yogis and the brahmacharis and monks and priests and things like this. Then there's the alchemists who are like kind of in between. Yes, let's bring control, but I'm also I align that nature is a natural part of life. I'm not going to have negativity or suppress my sexual energy. And then there's the modern day man and their thoughts around it. So there's many schools of thoughts. If you're really interested, you can. But here's what I say when someone generally asks, is there science? First of all, yes, there's science to back up both the biological aspects and the health aspects, as well as therefore influencing the psychology. And then there's lots of literature based around the spiritual aspects. Now, the spiritual aspects, you have to experience it. And that's what I always say to people when they go, where's the science? I'm like, why don't you be a scientist and do an experiment? Go 30 days. First of all, see if you can go 30 days without jerking off and watching porn, especially if you've been doing that for a long time. And notice how you feel. Notice how you feel. Take document. Week 1, day 1, how do I feel? Document it. Do a 30-day challenge. Do a 7-day challenge if you've been jerking off a lot. And you will notice within yourself. You won't need science because you'll have a personal experience. I'm not saying don't use science and don't read those things. I read all those things and I teach those things because I know it helps our logical mind accept and grasp things when we can back it up with, logic and science, and we can back it up with facts. It helps us believe. So I firmly believe in having science and having research and upping your knowledge. But here's the deal. You can do all that, and until you experience it, you'll always have a little bit of doubt. You'll always be like, I'm not sure. So here's what I suggest. If you want to experience it, first of all, go register for the free sex transmutation guide, because I'm going to give you some more knowledge, some more depth, as well as some techniques out of the sexual alchemy playbook to use so that you can start retaining longer. You can last longer in the bedroom if you're still having sex, or you're in a relationship, or, you're whatever you're doing. You can have a sexual life and practice retention. And so you can be able to use those techniques right away. You can also book a free call with me if you're really serious and this is something that you definitely want to pursue at a higher level. So you've got a free option to get yourself started, get a taste, get more information, and then come work with me at a deeper level. Great way to start. Or you're already like, look, I already know I want to do this. This is something that needs to be done. Then just book a call with me. Let's jump on a call. Let's talk about the training programs, how they're laid out. You can see if it resonates with you, if it makes sense for you, and then we'll take the next steps from there. All right, make sure you guys subscribe, hit the bell, get notified. If you're an entrepreneur, you got to be practicing semen retention. I'll see you on the next video.